Welcome back for another episode, a thrilling episode of What You Reading. As a professional writer, people ask me all the time, when you're not writing, what are you reading? And I thought I'd offer you a little glimpse into my literary tastes. uh, I read this collection of two Commando issues, and Commando is a long running series of weekly comics, digest-sized comics from D.C.Thompson in the UK. And I love a good war story. And these are always, solid, readable, accurate war adventures. And I've got, big collection of reprints of these. And this one's good. This was fun and unusual because it features recurring characters. Usually Commando and War Picture Library, those things are all one-off stories where we're introduced to a character and his story is told and then he's gone and we never see him again. And the next issue is a new story with new characters. And apparently Ramsey's Raiders is a series, recurring characters who we revisit every now and again. And the basic premise of the story is if you've ever seen the television show Rat Patrol, you know about the long-range desert patrols, the long-range desert group in North Africa formed by the British. And this was really the dawn of British special forces. This is where the SAS begins, the Special Air Services. And they were volunteers. They were rough, tough guys. They didn't mind the deprivations of desert life. Well, they didn't mind them. I'm sure they minded them, but they tolerated them in order to get at the enemy. And the main mission of the long-range desert groups was to go deep, deep into the desert of Libya and Algeria and Egypt and disrupt the supply lines of the Africa Corps to inconvenience the Germans as much as possible by blowing up fuel and ammo dumps and things like that. And basically depriving the Germans of the supplies they needed to keep fighting. And that was the main mission of the group. And the stories are fun. They feature the usual kind of cast of mixed characters. There's the Scot, there's the Aussie, there's the stuck-up, toffee-nosed officer, there's the Irishman. So you've got all of these, this cast of characters who are basically pirates. They're anti-establishment. They don't like following orders. They don't, the story. And it is the story. It is a very accurate, for the most part, portrayal of what the Long Range Desert Group volunteers were like. These were tough guys. These are true desert rats. They inflicted, massive amounts of damage to the German army at very little cost in materiel and lives. Although they often risk their lives, the desert being as hostile an environment, a hostile environment that they had to face, which, they stood a chance of just simply dying from the elements rather than at the mercies of the Africa Corps. But yeah, it's a fun series. My only real problem with it is it's in color, and I'm not used to Commando comics being in color, and the color really isn't that good. There's so many scenes like this one. This is a scene that's supposed to take place during daylight, and yet it appears to be overcast. I don't know how often it gets overcast in the Libyan desert. I would expect a story set in the desert to be more brightly lit. There's a lot of scenes that take place during the day that appear like they were colored as if they were taking place at night. I don't think a whole lot of attention was being paid to the story, or maybe the colorist didn't read the script, didn't really know what was going on in the story. But apparently there are further volumes of this. I'll have to check them out. But yeah, my only problem with it, it was a fun read. I really enjoyed it. Was the coloring was kind of off-putting because it's like, I know this is supposed to be daytime, but it sure looks like night. It's colored sort of gloomily for a story set in the sun-baked wastelands of Libya. On a side note, there's a terrific movie, 1958 movie about the long range desert groups. It's a really, I've watched this movie many, many times. It's readily available on YouTube. There's an excellent transfer of it on YouTube for absolutely free. It's called Sea of Sand, stars Richard Attenborough, and it's a really good war action film with a lot of heart, a lot of edge, and shot out there in the deserts of Morocco. So pour yourself an iced drink before you watch this, because watching this movie made me thirsty. Anyway, that's it for this week. I'll read some more and I'll get right back at you.